I mean, one of the things I talk about in the book, and it's certainly a little bit of an overly black and white example, but I make this distinction, which others have made as well, between buying and shopping. Buying being more kind of a left brain, logical, I'm on a mission, just get it off my list, to-do list kind of example, and shopping, being more discovery, more emotional, usually more complicated in terms of what it takes for the customer to decide ultimately what to buy. And again, overly simplified, but the internet is really good on the buying side and generally pretty terrible on the shopping side. And I think one thing that many retailers get wrong is they try to keep kind of, I call it a slightly better version of mediocre. And I don't mean to pick on any particular company, but I will pick on Macy's. Macy's keeps trying to make what they do and have done for 20, 30, 40 years a little bit better. But the reality is they've lost a lot of their business to the buying side of the house, to off-price retailers, to online. And there's very little they're going to do to win those customers back into a physical store. At the same time, there's a lot of business that has been traded up, so to speak, to Nordstrom and specialty retailers, whether that's online or in a store. And that requires that the store experience and the web experience be significantly better than it is functionally, but also in a highly differentiated way. Because if I can get the same product anywhere and I don't have to have the hassle of going to a store, or if I'm the sort of person that wants to be associated, and this gets back to the brand strategy, I want to be the sort of person that gets their clothing from a brand I can brag about, whether that is a Nordstrom or it's a product brand. There's very little you're going to do to win that business back if you don't fundamentally and very significantly change your brand image. So these are all really vexing problems. And I think as it relates to physical retail in particular, for those in the middle, one of the real struggles is, and I certainly experienced this at Sears and to a lesser degree at Neiman Marcus, is there's a lot of investment in a lot of physical space that is not built for modern retail. And it's a very difficult thing to say, well, do I put another, two, three, $4 billion into an outdated physical business model, or do I do something really different with that? And once you get into that situation, which I think J.C. Penney, many others have found themselves in, it's not at all clear what the right answer is, because they waited 15, 20 years to make the changes they needed to make. And so I don't mean to be so pessimistic about it, but when you sit down and say, I mean, for Macy's as an example, or J.C. Penney, to be viable businesses, they have to increase their market share on a trade area by trade area basis by probably 20, 30, 40% compared to 2019. How is that going to happen? Like, what is going to happen that's going to allow them to win back that much business at a expense level and capital investment that makes any kind of sense? And so I think many of these businesses, unfortunately, it's kind of a slow slide to oblivion because they watched the last 20 years happen to them, and now they're so far behind that it's unlikely they'll catch up.